dude, God just taught me how to be patient. He just taught me biblical patience, like how to be patient with him, with our prayers, with whatever. And it literally changed my life. So I'm going to teach it to you, but bear with me a little longer than normal. It's going to take me a little minute to explain, but I promise it's going to change your mind. In a video a day or two ago, I went over Romans 8:32, where Paul says that if God gave his one and only son up for us, will he not also graciously, pay attention to that word, graciously give us all things? I was also thinking about James 1:17, where James says that every good gift and every perfect gift, pay attention to that word gift, comes from above. It comes from God. And I was thinking about how the Bible makes it very clear that God doesn't owe us anything, but he graciously gives us everything. Because he's a gift giver, not like a boss, not a paycheck. And I was thinking about this and how if God doesn't owe us anything because the wages of sin is death and that's all we deserve, it clicked for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I've been so impatient lately. Because impatience stems from the pride that God owes you what you're asking about. So let me give you an example so it makes a little more sense. If you're trying to be a good man or woman of God and you're praying for a relationship, you're like, I think it's time, God, I pray you give me a relationship, but it's taken him a little minute to bring you someone. You're impatient because you feel like you deserve what you're asking about. You feel like, God, I've been serving you well. I feel like it's time that you give me someone, and he's not giving it to you yet. So you're like, God, what are you doing? So I realized that's how we be patient, is we switch from the pride and the entitlement of thinking God owes us something like a paycheck or a payment or a reward, but rather we understand humbly that everything is a gift graciously given to us. And when we can understand that everything is graciously given to us, we can be humble. Because if you think about the example I just gave with praying for a relationship, think about it on the flip side. If you're humbly and patiently waiting on that, because then the person who's humble and patient will go to God and be like, God, I know you don't owe me anything. I humbly accept that. I know that every good and perfect gift comes from you. And I know I don't even deserve this, but I ask that if it's within your will, you would give me a relationship. And since that person humbly understands that God is a gift giver, he can give the gift whenever he wants. A gift is given whenever the giver wants. It's not a paycheck. A paycheck comes every 2 weeks or week according to the labor, but our labor is never good enough for God. We could never do enough to earn anything. Nothing is deserved. It's just graciously given to us. And I was thinking about this and I was like, that's how we be patient, as we understand God doesn't owe us anything. And impatience only comes when we're being prideful and thinking that whatever we're being impatient about was owed to us. But we're patient when we understand God doesn't owe us anything, so he can give us the gift we're asking about if he wants and when he wants, because he's God and he does what he wants when he wants. So keep waiting, be patient, because now you know how. And remember that every good and perfect gift comes from above. Humbly remember that God does not owe you anything, but he will give you everything you need, because Psalm 34 verse 10 says that the righteous lack no good thing. So keep waiting and be patient.